I'm going to begin with what I think is my only Manchester poem. And this is an outtake from the book that Scott just mentioned, Days of 49, which is about the year 1949. And in that year, an extraordinary development happened in Manchester to do with computers. The Manchester Automatic Digital Machine, MADAM for short, was constructed and kind of worked. And at that time, Alan Turing was working on artificial intelligence, so at the university, and that fed into the construction of this computer. I should have said, although it isn't in Days of 49, because we put another computer poem in instead, it has seen the light of day in print, and it's in my selected poems, Music's Jewel. Oh, incidentally, it was absolutely huge. It was a development from the previous model called Baby. I tries to store, I should have given you the title, I'll start again. It's called Man U Mersenne Primer, and Man U in this context is Manchester University. I tries to store in 1 ton spread your subject flicker. Goodless, godless, I spy, I ply. First letter queuing down drum and tube, bit by bit. Are these mansion dolls? Are these berry cobbles? I almost sense, can certainly scan whatever you give. Put in, put out, on paper tape. Gone from baby to madam, all of 36 miles, tome space approx. To test and find fact rubble digits, a wiry little system flashes through the murk. No addle pate, no onion skin, just do you want halcyon ryebates, rotable purlieu, tropological hairness, oozled shirt cut, horoscope meddler? These, or any, seemed to order. I con, under metal plates and rods, groping the far-domed landscape, will draw a new idea for the old shambles. Boil this turf, timber to wage stock, ever patient as last tram leaves. Tighten or spill might one day usable save me, you, you. So implies that Turin igma. If I, if it, could perform capricious, leaking to remind and fit the special remnant need, incul alpha edzo, my engine free, to attune and be held, then would be blood, gaze, and gesture woken indeed. Scott also mentioned my book Leffanu's Ghost, or Lefanu, a lot of people say. It's the bicentenary of Joseph Sheridan Leffanu's birth this year. So it is perhaps appropriate that I voice a text from the book which largely concerns him and his writing, although it also embraces other members of his family. Perhaps the most distinguishing feature of his mode of operation is that he reworked stories in different forms. One might be a novel, then he would turn it into a short story, and then for another publication purpose he might write a novella, but they're all very different. So I thought I'd do something working with that idea of shifting things. And this is called liquid syntax. I saw even the blue veins that traced their wanderings on the whiteness of her throat. Veins I saw, blue, on the whiteness that on her throat I traced, even wanderings there. Wanderings on the whiteness, their blue I traced. The throat veins of her saw that even. There were shelves of books too, those of that philosophic school which bears no amity of revelation, dark and warped by time. Great burnt squares of gingerbread. No amity squares, those shelves of philosophic books burnt by revelation. Time-warped gingerbread, too great of that school which were there of bears and of dark. I say to the bull, I'll not go, if you write him any such letter. Any letter you write will go to him, if I say such, not the bull. Them rubbish is making him quite shaky like, and he will not last no time if that lanky, lean ghost of a fellow in black keeps prowling in and out of his room like a cat. No time will last like a cat that keeps prowling in and out of rubbish. Lanky black ghost of his room, making them shaky if a fellow lean and he notter quite like him. I can't mark them places. I don't know whether I'm on my head or my heels. Can't I know them heels head on, whether I mark my places or I don't? There's something to vex, but nothing to threaten. Nothing. It's all that comical dream, curse it. What tricks the brain plays us. All to threaten the brain, there's tricks. All to threaten the brain, there's tricks. What comical curse plays nothing? Nothing but vex it, something, to dream that it's us. Up through the weather your secret rises. The stones won't keep it, and it lifts the mould, and it tracks your footprints and your fun surprises, and it sits at the fire beside you, black and cold. Up through the stones the weather won't keep it. Your secret at the fire rises, and it sits and it tracks and it lifts your footprints, black and cold, and your fun beside you surprises the mould. It is only that in your case, the pear-y ease, the veil of flesh, the screen, is a little out of repair. A pair of flesh, your only screen, is it, parries the little case that is out in thee of thee a veil. Sad looked to him the smile of the old building and the lordly trees in the sunlight. The windows sparkled redly in it, the ivy rustled in the light air, and the sparrows twittered and fluttered among its glittering leaves, recalling many an arrival at the same hour, faint and far away. lordly sparked the arrival of sparrows in the faint light glistening. Many among leaves fluttered and twittered, recalling the smile an hour away at the windows. Its air rustled in the ivy, and the same in the old sunlight in the building sad. Redly to him it looked, and far the trees. We never know how much to thank our stars for the luck we have, until we come to learn what luck we might have had. Stars might know we had what for. We come, we learn, we thank. Never to have much luck until our have luck to the how. That's the book. That's the book it's from. Just holding them up because I've printed the stuff out on sheets. Right. I'll shift now to my current project, which Scott mentioned, Harriet Double. These are from the middle section of the book, and this is a text called Cloud Head. I wrote this a year or so ago, but I was reminded of its pertinence by an article by Tim Dowling in the Guardian Weekend recently, in which he described the text of his current book disappearing when his book in progress disappearing when his computer crashed. Of course, there are various other possibilities for preserving what you're doing. Cloud Head. And there's an epigraph which is my reworking of 2 lines from a nonsense poem. The scroll won't contain the whole, though stretched from sky to sky. All you'd wish to gather and keep, put in a place that doesn't press. Go, grip fix aroma, rusty staples, stifling cabinet. There at a touch, comfortably remote. These sheaves in a tower won't tip and spill. Dense black into thinner white makes a custom rack that can lift and deliver. But a forked mountain is slippery, moves from a cart to a wolf or leopard, then fades to fluff. So a map will dislimb by the window. You think you hold a grid of life in marked parts, one step translated. Collect, control, half abandoned to frugal dots. You're only as good as your next link, a word in a figure flip. If that's locked, it may vanish. Stuff is a run of moments you try to stack when all removes at a blink. And that's a link poem within that middle section to a mini sequence I've written about the Outer Banks of North Carolina, which is the area where the first English settlers came, and particularly Roanoke Island, which is on the inside of this extraordinary elongated strip that runs down, aligned with the coast. And it's a constantly shifting landscape. I should have said that Francis and I visited the Outer Banks this late summer and autumn, and saw the territory for ourselves. And that's always the best way in. But after I came back, I located a satellite photograph, and it shows this yellow strip going all the way down like that on the blue and green of the sea. So I laid it out as a patterned text. I don't know whether you can see that. There's some pencil scrawl there as well by me. I'm going to invite Francis to voice this with me. It's simply called Outer Banks. Sand-spit ribbon, curved bones of a leg poised to step.
Bird frail arc, yellow on blue and green.
Who would build his house on?
Waves thrust, to be self-thrust.
Grains won and lost.
Scrub, twisting in the wind.
Wingwall, turn.
Dorsal spume of lost voices.
Ghoul, shimmer. Chill, flow against heat. I should just add a gloss on the ending there. Part of the reason why it's such a shifting landscape is because you get a meeting at that point of the Gulf Stream, the warm Gulf Stream, and the cold Labrador current. So you get a lot of strange things happening, and in fact on maps, particularly on Renaissance, early Renaissance maps, you get ships marked indicating shipwrecks. While we were on Roanoke Island, we heard quite a bit about Hurricane Irene, which hit the Outer Banks in 2011 and caused a lot of devastation. So I've written a text about that. But I've called it Hurricane Irene. And Hurricane is a late 16th century variant of that word. Well, it was only just being formed in English. Hurricane Irene. Guess you or get you? Gust Rider. The name on the radio buzzes. A vial far off that's smashed. Coil to banding curve. Only from space is there. A lull of hot breath sucks water from the sound, so one with guts could walk across. Twined with salt, we know, a rack line, build on stilts, splash and patter, the tree frogs sing. You can't dodge it. No waves will tell what backward sweep, Lady Carib, convulsive pummels. Brown water in a rush, over grass, streets and cars, chest high. Bobbing logs, shoals of fish. Main for main, these freakish minutes turn. A house to a shaky boat with torn hatches. 5 foot to 8, the barometer won't play any favourites. If the top step shows, you're safe, while a torchlight drowns. Daybreak, spirit gone, comes to reckon. All smithereened, furniture, toys, lie in a slop. Trees act like they've died, but it's all in the roots. Bedded if the body's scraped. Perry, hero, Cain. You beat a drumskin, sway in and jostle as an echo of stranger steps. Some says we shouldn't be in brackish flats, that the giver will roll and chop. Here to horizon, blues, all us fall. We take our clothes and float, slide crazy, chunks of wood through slime, play right on. Don't snout beaten, see another way. Well, part of the point of the title of my book, Harriet Double, is that one Harriet, namely Thomas Harriet, who was Walter Raleigh's scientific advisor, went to the Outer Banks and Roanoke Island in 1585 and did a considerable amount of research. He may have been on 2 other expeditions in that decade as well. And I've done a text here which is just twisted, adapted a little bit from his brief and true report, which was the first significant account of the nature of the New World. And it's called, well, it's about the effect of European germs on the native population. It comes about it in a slightly odd, neutral fashion, which intrigue me. Air sweep. A rare and strange accident moved the country that either knew or heard of us to wonderful admiration. There was no town where we had any subtle device practiced against us, but that within a few days after our departure, people began to die, many in short space. The disease so strange that they neither knew what it was, nor how to cure it. Those that were immediately to come after us, they imagined to be in the air, yet invisible and without bodies, and that they, by our entreaty, did shoot the people with invisible bullets. Their physicians, to excuse not curing the disease, would make people believe that the strings of blood they sucked out were those wherewith all the bullets were tied and cast. Elsewhere, Harriet shows considerable empathy with the Algonquin Indians, and he was fascinated by their language and developed a phonetic alphabet to enable English people to interpret it. And this account of the Algonquin language was developed subsequently in Jamestown by William Strachey. And then about 30 years later, Roger Williams published in London a book called A Key into the Language of America. And I've reworked this text from Roger Williams's book. It's called Ear Witness. Wetchacom, the sea. Mishuna Mese, a little canoe. Gaitanuk, a ship. Wascon Toguan, it will go adrift. Katanumus, I will help you. Paketanish, let go or let fly. Nikoshka woman, we shall be drowned. Maumanin diantas, be of good courage. Kinakwas, steer. Oapesha, it calms. Damokom, flood. Owanik powered hook. Who comes there? Ask, get, punish. Make fast the boat. Go Bauschas, go ashore. Neen Gutham walk. Now they go off. Nupen now want thou woman. I cannot speak your language. Capitus, I understand you. Ahanu, he laughs. One naum wash, speak the truth. Takekumuo, is there a spring? Yo enshik mai, there the way lies. Teano wuk nipiam, I will be here by and by again. What a gonuok, Englishman. That is coat man. Cho quack quack, Englishman. Properly sword man. Knees quack gong husu, a babbler or prater. Namo tanume, I have spoken enough. Mata mituk quinuno, have you no trees? Wesasu, afraid. Kau wesas, are you afraid? Tarwich wesasean, why fear you? Manau wesas, I fear none. Kakashish quok, they fear you. Nozamita yunquok, they fly from me. On the Matakau water, let us pursue. Nakwasha, I fear him. Wasemao wok, he flies, they fly. Napauchipawan, I fly for succor. Kisoname, save me. Nipomak, I am shot. Chenau, churlish. Wow, mausu, loving. Dawich Chenauasean, why are you churlish? Or Mansk, a fort. A little key may open a box where lies a bunch of keys. I drew the materials in a rude lump at sea as a private help to my own memory, that I might not lightly lose what I had so dearly got. I laboured to suit my endeavours to my pretences, and out of desire to attain their language, ran through varieties of intercourses with them, day and night, summer and winter, by land and sea. They say that they have sprung and grown up in that very place, like the very trees of the wilderness. By occasion of their frequent lying in the fields and woods, they much observe the stars, and they have the same words for their rising courses and setting as for the sun or moon. The wildest sons of men hear the preaching of the heavens, the sun, moon, and stars, though they deny not an other God. At our last passing, I closed with one concerning his soul. He said, "Me so big, naughty heart, me heart, all one stone." And I will finish with another poem from music's jewel. the selected. And this is a poem dedicated to Geraldine Monk, who's sitting over here. It's...
I knew something was about to happen.
Yeah,
A little premonition.
yeah. It's called Gulf Ghost File. And the dedication comes out of the fact that I had been talking to Geraldine about recent weather events, and at that time there was the danger of the reservoir outside Sheffield overflowing and coming down into Sheffield, and perhaps even up to Nether Edge, I don't know. I know you're a bit higher, but...
If it was the year of the bad floods in Sheffield, it was about
96 or something, was it? Well... Oh, no. 2006. Yeah. Because it comes from the end of the book, and that came out... No, 2008, I think it would be. Yeah.
Well,
anyway, whatever it is.
Well, I know
Yeah.
It's
It's 21st century anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, these...
It's not in the old...
Yeah, okay. Thank you for correcting me. Anyway, it makes you think, doesn't it, when something like that happens. And I live in a building that's up a gentle slope. And I just was thinking, it's a good thing I don't live about 10 yards further down at the end of my road. And at the end of my cul-de-sac, there is a semi-main road that runs along, and under that there is a small river or stream. I mean, really far down, which you'll hear me allude to in the poem. It's called the Slade. It's a tributary of the River Brent, and in the area of northwest London, where I live, there is also a big reservoir called the Welsh Harp. Didn't think, when I rooted here, of the Welsh Harp we walked to over Fortress Hill circular traffic, the Brent River dammed below the join of Dulles Brook and stream Silk. Now I turn out of the house down a slope to the main road, where once I saw down a manhole the brook converted 12 foot down that cannot take today's rain. Rendell's latest has a dank summer of drizzle and storm, and in mind at least the harp bursting its bank to force a torrent south to Portobello. I read Sam Charters on New Orleans. Proud to swim home, says a bumper sticker. Recall my gris-gris soak by Pontchartrain from Rampart Street in the heat of 68. Could use a Nilometer, the one I saw elephantine in 1990, to measure the height of this floor above the V of the Slade's long stream bed road. Swish of a skirt, hints, God-sip, unrefrainable murmur and gush. Oh, what would the pledge be? Reft of outwelling secrets, we find ill come. I'll just say one thing about that ending. It's also it's a kind of tribute to a mutual passion I share with Geraldine the work of Gerard Manley Hopkins. Thank you very much.